Welcome to True and Unpolished, the podcast, a Cusp culture production. Through this podcast, our intention is to uplift, inspire, and amuse.
Let's get authentic. Hello. It's Lydia.
And Mary.
Did you see what I did there? I'm going to try to do something really kooky every time we say hello because it's, boring to say it the same way the other way. And so some of them are going to be like total failures. Some of them, y'all are going to wish I had not said hello the way I did.
It's okay to fail.
Yeah, it's okay to fail and get back up again. Try again. Yeah.
So you called me a little while ago and said
I did. That's the other way we always start.
To talk about, which is I'm really excited to talk about this because I love it. I love what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, I know you do. And so I'm turning 40, y'all, imminently soon, very soon. And one of the things I've always admired about Mary is that she really embraces the concept of rituals. And I, am finding that I want to begin doing that. And so, we have rituals and traditions in, as a people, as cultures, like birthday candles, blowing out birthday candles is a ritual. Toasting at New Year's, that's a ritual. And rituals, getting a Christmas tree, like there's a ton of them. And I feel like, ham at Easter. Anyway, okay, I'm starting to think of all the different ones.
No ham for me.
No ham. You'll pass on the ham. I don't enjoy turkey as a rule. Okay.
Turkey for me either.
No turkey for you either. Tofu turkey, toe turkey.
Yeah.
So I want to, mark my turning 40 with some kind of ritual. I want to do it because, the way I see it is that rituals make something sacred, like they anoint something as sacred. And I want to make the next chapter of my human existence sacred. I want to do that. And I also want to honor me maybe and where, where I've been, and also be intentional about where I'm going. And I was thinking about these rituals, and I was thinking about the ones that I had, growing up. As a family, we didn't have that many, but my father was Catholic. And so, he had holy water. Like we had a little font by the front door, and
Is it like the ones that you get in the church, see in the church?
Yeah, it's like a little placard with a lip that went out.
Okay.
Made a bowl, so you could like put your hand in the water and like anoint yourself. They would do the sign of the cross as they went in and out.
So it's like hanging on the wall?
Yeah, right by the door, door. And interestingly, my mom, was talking about me turning 40. She was texting me and she said, this is so exciting, celebrating you turning 40 and all of the beautiful changes to your spirit and body. And and at first I thought, and when I told Mary that, she's like, body changes the body. And that's exactly my first thought, was like, oh yes, let's please celebrate all these lovely changes that are happening and going to happen.
She said lovely or exciting?
Exciting. I think she said exciting or beautiful. Yeah, she said both. I think she said so many exciting or beautiful changes to your spirit and body.
That is so lovely that she would say that. And yes, my first reaction was like, what?
Yes.
I mean, because I've never heard anybody say that.
Yeah, and she totally
not in that way.
Yeah. No, me neither. And I really, right on the other side, just like you, right after I had that initial reaction, I thought, that is so awesome. Like I want to embody that. I want to be, excited about that. And I think that's really what got me thinking about this whole ritual
thing.
And doing something, and I don't really know.
Can I just say, sorry, but can I just say, there are, I mean, I don't know about the exciting thing with your body, but I think having that attitude is so wonderful, and it is something that I have experienced. So I'm going to shift my thinking about that too.
Oh, so that really has been your experience? Because Mary's just a little
Well,
bit older than me.
just a little bit, just a
Just a
few.
just a skosh.
So, yeah, I think so. I mean, I wouldn't have said that myself unless I heard it from you or somebody
Yeah.
else. But I definitely feel like there's some, we don't look at it as exciting, but I mean, the week before I turned 40, my vision, I was reading a book with very small print.
Right.
And I was so shocked. I was like, I cannot read this book.
Yeah.
And so I ended up taking my daughter. She had they were real reading glasses. She had them as she was like 7 years old, and she had them to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took them from her, and that was my first pair of reading glasses the week before I turned 40.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, all the people.
But it was, I mean, but looking back, it is kind of, a rite of passage, which kind of gets back to the whole ritual thing.
Yeah. And I'll have to say that honestly, I love, my husband wears readers, you wear readers. I have always looked at it and thought that looks so cool. Like I've always thought it looks really neat.
Really?
Yeah, I really have. And I got, recently I got a new to me car. So it's used, but it's new to me. And, the little sunglassy holder they have, it's not sunglassy, everybody, it's just sunglasses, but it's sunglass holder. I pressed the little button and it came down, and in it were these cute readers with like flowers on them. And I was like,
they're just waiting for
yes!
you.
So I'm telling you right now, on the kitchen island, the readers are sitting there on the island.
The day that it's coming.
Yeah, it's imminent. Like I'm actually very excited about that. And I have, growing up, all of my friends were always older. I always wanted to be older, always, always, always. And maybe people experience that to varying degrees, but it was like to the point where I constantly lied about my age. I was always older, even if I had to do like a year or two. Remember? You remember that about me. And now what I recognize is I still have the same thing. I mean, I certainly don't lie about my age anymore, but I have the same sense of like, oh, it's going to be exciting. Like, oh, exciting to be 40. So I do have that thought, and I want to, so maybe that's what it is. I want to cultivate that voice in me that says, wow, cool, this is going to be great. And
so maybe so you want to do a ritual, maybe your ritual should be around that. So how do I create a ritual around cultivating excitement and enthusiasm about moving into this next phase of life?
Absolutely. That's
what your ritual would be about.
Right. Okay. So what I hear you saying is, if you want to do a ritual, you first decide kind of the theme of the ritual. That's what I just heard you say, because that's what the theme is, right?
Right.
So the theme is cultivating excitement about the next chapter. Great. Now,
what's the purpose of the ritual? What am I like? Why am I doing this?
Right.
And you can start generally if you're not sure. Like whenever I moved into my house after I got divorced, I moved into a new home, and I had a house blessing, and I actually had this beautiful friend. Her name was Kay, and she did this. She just did this for me, and she used to do things for people all the time. And I think maybe that is one. I mean, I've gotten this idea of ritual from a lot of people, but Kay is one of the people. And she died several years ago, but she like came and she went through, she made these mixed up these essential oils. And then we invited my friend Charles, who is a priest and just a beautiful soul. And he came in and blessed each room in my house.
Yes.
But when I went to work that day, and Kay and another friend, her name is Donnie, they basically cleaned my house and prepared my home before the blessing. So it was this whole production, but obviously for me and blessing my home, it was about ushering in this new, lovely, joyful home and experience, like creating a whole new experience for myself that was in a home that was filled with love.
Yeah. Roxy's very excited about your home.
I know see?
Yeah, she's so excited about the ritual that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So hi,
there
Roxy.
were so many elements that went into it, and that was a gift that I was a part of the ritual, and I certainly planned a part of it, but these wonderful friends came in and gave me this beautiful gift too.
And I would have done it, but I was across the country in California. I just want everybody to say hashtag I'm still a good friend.
Amazing. Hashtag amazing.
Yeah. When you were saying that, what that also says is that you were, creating an intention, building, this this reality that you were going to be supported in this next phase. Because think about it, you're getting a divorce. So, one thinks of not lack of support in that instance. Divorce makes you think, oh, I'm going to have less help, less support. And that is the exact opposite of what happened. So isn't that beautiful that someone did that for you? So that also goes along with the theme, because that was the other thing I thought about when I thought about this ritual. I thought, are there others involved in this ritual that I want to do, with turning 40? Or is it, solely me? And my first thought was, it's just me. But that's part of me, in the way that I'm built. I'm built as,
Yes.
So wouldn't you imagine?
Well, I guess the question then would be, I think both. It could be both. It could be a 2-part kind of ritual or something.
Right.
So
you're right.
What do you want for yourself in your life in the next 40 years? Do you want?
Yeah. So obviously,
you want to be alone?
Yes. Badly.
Solely.
Never alone.
Maybe that's
no. I think that's a great point. I think it's a balance. I want to, and maybe that's why that part of your story stood out to me so much, the support part. So of course, yes, in the next chapter of my life, maybe I want to invite in more support. And I have to tell you guys, here's what happened. My son, my 10-year-old, who is the helper, like he is my helper. He is the helper in our family. And he fractured his ankle. And so
you mentioned that, but
he fractured his ankle. So now we're on, actually today is 1 week in the boot. And so he went from, being, and he's always in motion, like aside from being very passionate about football and literally always playing football, even if it's just with himself, by tackling himself onto my couch with his football in his hand.
That's awesome.
No, it's crazy. So, but he also is in constant motion. Like he just wants to be moving, he's very athletic and it's his joy. And so the first couple of days I was really concerned because I could see, like when I picked him up from school that first day after the boot, his energy was completely opposite. It was depressed, heavy energy. And so I told him, I said, I really want you to talk about it. I want you just to, not because I can necessarily make it better, but because it can help to just say, I'm feeling really down about this. And so he's been giving it voice and saying, yeah, I'm really frustrated. I'm angry at this boot, and I feel sad because I don't get to play at recess. And see that we're in Wisconsin, so it's freezing. So his toe is exposed. He's got a sock toe on, and it's 8 degrees outside, or it feels.
Oh no.
Although it's been a very mild winter, so it hasn't been so bad. But so here he is, and he is the kid that, like, I'm not kidding. Before he got the boot on, he couldn't put pressure on the foot. So he was hopping around on one foot. And I'm like, come in with groceries. And he's like, I'll help, Mom. And he's hopping across the floor on one foot to come and get groceries. Like, that's just him. And, if somebody says, oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, I'll get you some water. Like, that's just him. He does it. And what I recognized about him, oh yeah, he's super sweet. What I recognized about him during this time, and I said it to him, I said, hon, this is life inviting you to ask for help and to receive help. I said, I didn't realize this about you until I'm seeing it, but this is definitely something that I have too. I don't ask for help and I don't receive it. I'm not good at receiving help. And I think this is life's way of saying, hey, here's how you ask for help and here's how you receive it. And then I said to his brother, who has special needs, who, he has always been the one to receive the help. I said to him, this is life inviting you to be the helper, and, so
And what was his response?
He said, yeah, and he carries the water up the stairs because we've got 2 flights of stairs. And so
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. There's lots of really neat things happening through this. I'm encouraging him to talk about his feelings, which is reminding me that I need to talk about my feelings, all these things. So what I recognize is that maybe this ritual, needs to embody embody is my word kind of for the year. Well, part of it, but
oh, you have a word for the year?
I don't have a word. I have I can't have a word because other people have words, and that's not what I do. I can't do it. You know how I am. That's my 4 wing coming out. But
I was thinking, well, I'm the 4.
I know.
But I actually, to be fair, whenever I started it, when I started doing it, nobody was doing it.
That's right. Yes, you started the word thing. You're #Mary the trendsetter. And
I didn't start it, but I picked up on it early on.
Yeah, because you're doing the word. And everybody, when you hear us say things like, that's my 4 wing, or I'm a 4, we're talking about the Enneagram, which, if you have never looked into it, Google Ready, RHETI, Enneagram test and take the test. It is honestly, but it is so, so helpful. So anyway, I know we're not talking about.
Well, can I just tell them what it is real quick?
If you can tell them real quick.
Real quick. It's just an ancient personality typing test. It's different from any personality test in modern days. But it's still the same concept and idea as something like the Myers-Briggs personality test. And but it has 9 types, and each type is given a number. And basically, it's a tool to help integrate all 9 parts so that we can live more fully and wholly into who we are.
Yeah, it's really, really helpful. So what I recognize about this ritual is that I would like for it to invite in, a better balance of support in my life. So, asking for, accepting a level of support. Okay, so now here we are. We've got the
okay? So, just as somebody who knows you, I'm wondering if it's really more about being open to it.
Yes, it definitely
open to it, because from what I know, you've experienced a lot of support in the last several years.
Yes, that's right.
It's more of the opening, and being open to including people in your ritual might be a good idea.
Yeah. So we have number 1 that I forgot number 1. What did we decide first of all?
Setting your intention. What's your purpose of your ritual?
Right. And we said that part of it is about cultivating excitement for the next chapter. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then another element is
Support.
being more receptive
and
open to support. But so what's the nuts and bolts? Like, what do I do? So you tell me, because you're literally, I mean, you're so great at this. You're so great at this.
So can I just tell you, we're kind of at the end of our time here. So what I'm wondering is if we can talk about different rituals that I've done.
Yes.
And then maybe we regroup next time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
So that we don't go too far over our time, but
yeah. So tell me about.
Well, one of the ways that I've done rituals with other people is, well, house blessings. So there's little things that I do to invite spirit in. And I'm actually taking this course or this challenge by Colette Barron-Reed that's happening this week. And I love her, as you know, but she's doing a vision board challenge, and I've already done a vision board for the year, but I was just interested in it. So I decided to do it. So, and as an artist, I do mandalas. So I have a practice, and I think there's a line. I mean, we create practices. So I have a mindfulness practice where I draw mandalas and I document my dreams. I document notes from any classes I'm taking. I write down everything that's going on in my life in my journal that I'm making my mandalas in. Yeah. So then with other people, I create larger mandalas out of chalk, like sidewalk chalk, or I've done things that are organic, out of organic materials. And so I create these rituals, and I think bringing in other elements like light or candles, crystals, because crystals they're just rocks, right? That's what people who aren't into this kind of spirituality stuff, well, that's just a rock. And that is true, but they're a rock. Everything has energy. And so crystal or rock can become a tool to help me align my vision, my intention with the reality, with what's happening in reality. And so bringing in things like music and or bells, sound. So like if I'm doing a house blessing, then I would open the windows and I would light sage. And the sage is supposed to clear out the energy. So anytime I'm doing any type of ritual, I'll usually light sage to clear it out. And then opening the windows allows it to be able to leave. And then bringing in like the bells later, after I've cleared the old energy out, then I bring the bells in and invite new energy in. And so the same kind of process with setting an intention, whether it's doing a sort of a house blessing or doing the mandalas with groups of people. And usually with that, I will just have a prayer, like my intention is a prayer, and that's what I'll say while I'm drawing or building the mandala, and I invite people in. So that's part of the ritual too, is letting go of my attachment to how it's going to be and look.
Right.
And it's all a part of that process. And for me, it's oftentimes very organic and not really planned out. So I think you can plan it out,
yeah,
and structure it so it works, but also know that you're so good at this, like following your inspiration, right? So if we're too rigid in creating a ritual, then we lose that guidance that our inspiration can give us in the midst of it.
Yeah.
So, but I think we can come up with a loose plan with the nuts and bolts but also know that, especially for somebody like you who has the inspiration, that you let that
Oh my
come
God.
into play too.
This just reminded me of, so I had a friend that was not going to have her kids on Christmas this last year. And it just so happened that it just came up that, that was going to happen. And I thought, oh, I know what you should do. And I actually, it was very Mary-esque of me. Like I had the thought, like, this is like Mary. So I think I'm actually getting good at this. But I said, okay,
Yeah.
so you're going to have a date with yourself. Like, so we're going to create a list. Like, would you ideally make your dinner or would you pick it up from somewhere? And so we planned out menu and then planned out the 3 days before, like on this day, I'm going to get the ingredients from the store for the meal. And I'm also going to pick out the movies that I'm going to watch on this day. And then I'll pick them up on this day. And I said, okay, and you need to get candles because you're going to like candles and a bathrobe, and
Right.
I sent her as a Christmas present, I sent her a foot spa. So that she could use that on that day or whatever. And we planned out this really great ritual for her for that day. And so I think that
You're getting it.
yes. But what I'm noticing is that I'm inviting more of this in. And I think that really is in line with the cultivating excitement over the next chapter, because
Right.
there has to be a level of anticipation or excitement about something in order for you to want to have a ritual, in order for you to want to, mark it in some way.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm noticing in the conversation is I'm noticing the ways in which I'm shifting. And part of that obviously comes from age and experience. Like I can sense, I'm excited to know who I'm going to be in the next chapter, like the shifts that are going to come. And I have been doing things, I've been working with a meditation coach because I'm really working on being in my body, and that for me, that's what the new year is. It's this year, what I did is, I want to live life on life's terms. Like what I decided to let go of in the burning bowl was I just want to get rid of or release whatever the next layer of protection I have around myself that is keeping me insulated from the experience of life.
Right.
So I am excited to continue this conversation about ritual in the coming days and weeks.
Yes.
Well, I don't have weeks. So I don't have that long. So I am excited to continue talking about this. And
I'm excited too.
And my wish for you, whoever it is that is hearing this, is that you will also want to honor yourself with some kind of ritual. So yeah, great. We've got a not yet plan.
Right.
Well, you have been listening today to True and Unpolished, the podcast. And before I say that last line, I'm going to remind you to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, especially because I know you want to know what ritual I choose. Let's see what happens next.